I'm here with another science lesson for us today. So I'm going to share my screen, and today we're going to be looking at tooth decay. So there are lots of, oh, my screen's being funny. Sorry. There are lots of things that we will need today because we're going to be doing an investigation. So hopefully you've already had my message and you have got yourself some eggs, some fizzy drink. It needs to be like a sugary drink like Coke or lemonade, something like that. Some coffee. You need to make up some coffee in a cup. Some vinegar, some orange juice, some glasses and some water. That's the easiest one, hopefully. So first of all, let's recap what we did last lesson. So last lesson we learned about different teeth. We had 4 different types of teeth. So see if you can remember what they're called, and I've included the pictures that we looked at, so that might help you remember them. So you can pause the video here and see if you can name those teeth. Okay. So first of all, here we had incisors. They were the ones that kind of flat teeth with kind of a sharp tip on them. Then we've got canines, which are your pointier ones. So you got some at the top and some at the bottom. They kind of stand out more because they look a bit more a bit different. Premolars and molars. That's what most of your teeth are, premolars and molars. And then we've got wisdom teeth, which were the ones right at the back, which not everyone has them, and they kind of come through when you're sort of an adult, and they can be really painful, so you'll know about them if you get them. So those were our 4 types of teeth that we learned about, but today we are looking at tooth decay. So what happens if we don't look after our teeth? So often parents might say, or dentists will say, you need to brush your teeth twice a day, otherwise your teeth will rot. So don't worry, these pictures aren't too horrible, but this is what your teeth might look like when they start to decay. So here you can see these black bits are where the tooth is actually starting to decay. It's starting to get some holes in. And here you can see the gum looks quite red and sore as well. So those are the sorts of things that might happen if we don't look after our teeth. And there you can see a hole in that tooth. And this is called tooth decay. It's basically holes in your teeth. And here we can see the different stages. So we've got early decay, which when it's just at that point, it might not even be painful. You might not even notice it because it's only in the top layer of your tooth. But as it gets worse, we can see it gets further and further into the tooth. And once it's getting down here past these outer layers, it's going to start getting painful there because this softer part of your tooth is where the nerves are. So these bits are the nerves in your teeth. And nerves are what gives us our feeling in our body. So we've got nerves that go all through our body. And if we sort of touch them, it hurts. So when we get these holes in our teeth, the nerves are exposed, and that's when you get your toothache and it really hurts. So those are the stages of tooth decay there. So to find out what happens to our teeth when we have too much of some drinks or foods, we're going to carry out an investigation. So I'm going to take you through it step by step, and we're going to do it in 2 parts. So this is part 1 of our science lesson for this week, and then we'll have part 2 once our investigation has had enough time and we can go back to it. So before we do our investigation, set it all up, we need to make a prediction. Hopefully you can remember that that means that we are making a guess about what we think is going to happen. So these are the things obviously that we're going to put our eggs into. Okay, we're using eggs because the shell of an egg is similar, the substance that it's made from is similar to our teeth. So you need to write in your book prediction, and then we're going to do, you're going to write, I predict that the egg in the which substance, so maybe the coffee will not decay at all. However, I think that the shell of the egg in which substance will decay the most. So you choose which one you think is not going to decay at all, which one's going to decay the most. And then you're going to say why you think this will happen. So I think this will happen because maybe the coffee, because it's very dark, and maybe that's going to affect the tooth. Maybe if it's a fizzy drink, is it because of the bubbles or the sugar? If it's orange juice is quite acidic. It's got lots of acid in it. So is it because of the acid? Okay, and if you've got any other ideas about what might happen with the other things, if you wanted to say that in the coffee, maybe it's going to stain the teeth, it's actually going to make the teeth go kind of a brown colour, then you can add that sentence on there as well. So you could explain why the egg's going to decay the most in that one, and then you could add a sentence and say the egg in the coffee will stain because, and you can add that in as well. So whatever you think, if you can think of something for each of the substances and what you think is going to happen, then you can do that too. Okay, so you need to just write your prediction there first of all. So you can pause the video here to write out your prediction. Okay, right, so hopefully you've written your prediction now. We're going to move on to the next bit, which is writing our method. So the method is what we're actually going to do. So obviously you're going to start by saying we are using eggs to investigate tooth decay because eggshells are made of a similar substance to teeth. To carry out our investigation, we will. So what are we going to do? So this is where we need to think really carefully about the process that we're going to do. So I'm going to say to carry out our investigation, we will, first of all, we're going to put our eggs in because otherwise, well, just because that makes more sense. So to carry out our investigation, we will first place one egg, we need to be quite specific, into each glass. Then, or I, I'll say we because I've started off saying we, but you can say I. Then we will pour the liquid into the glass so that the egg is submerged, which means it's under the liquid completely. So the egg is submerged. Then we will pour the liquid into the glass so that the egg is submerged. We will have 5 glasses in total. In total. One containing, actually let's, we will have 5 glasses in total. I want to make it clear that we're not mixing our liquids. We've only got Coke or we've only got water. So, and they will contain one of the following liquids. And then I can list them. So we're going to have, maybe I'm going to use lemonade, water, orange juice. What else was I going to use? Coffee and vinegar. Is that the last one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and vinegar. Right, so that's the thing. So we will have 5 glasses in total, and they will contain one of the following liquids. Good. Okay, that's fine. Then I'm going to say how long we need to leave this for a few days so that we can see what will happen. So I'm going to say we will leave the eggs in the glasses of liquid for at least 3 days, because I think that's quite a good amount of time for us to be able to see what might happen, because it's not going to happen that quickly. It's not going to be like in a couple of hours. It's going to need quite a decent amount of time. So we will leave the eggs in the liquids for at least 3 days before removing them. Okay, so that's my method. Okay, so we are using eggs to investigate tooth decay because eggshells are made of a similar substance to teeth. To carry out our investigation, we will first place 1 egg into each glass. Then we will pour the liquid into the glass so the egg is submerged. We will have 5 glasses in total, and they will contain one of the following liquids: lemonade, water, orange juice, coffee, and vinegar. We will leave the eggs in the glasses of liquid for at least 3 days before removing them. There we go. So that's my method. So you can now pause the video and you can either use what I've written or you can write that in your own words. Obviously, you might be using slightly different liquids there, so just make sure you're writing down whatever you've got. Okay, so pause the video there. Okay, so now that we've written our method, it's time for you to set up your experiment. So you obviously we know what we're doing because we've just written our method. So you now need to follow these simple steps to set up your experiment. I have said you can label the cups like this if you want to. You might not need to because you might remember what you've put in each one, hopefully. So do that, and then we're going to come back to this lesson later on in the week. Okay, so that's the end of our lesson for today. So I'm going to stop that lesson there.